In less than 24 hours, an East Texas man will be executed. 50-year-old Troy Clark has been sentenced to die for the brutal murder of a Tyler woman that happened nearly 20 years ago. The investigation and case against Clark unraveled a web of lies, intimidation, and murder. KETK's Daniel Pierce spoke with people who watched his story unfold and the journey to find justice for Christina in tonight's special report.
It's as bad as I've seen in nearly 25 years. The body was very badly decomposed.
By Troy's design, he wanted people afraid of him.
He said, "You better help me or you can be here too."
Just another one of Troy's victims.
September 1998. The search for 20-year-old Christina Muse had entered its fourth month, and after no leads, a break in the case. A tip led investigators to this patch of land just west of the Tyler Pounds Regional Airport. KETK was there when an oil drum was dug from the dirt.
Hours upon hours searching here along County Road 1185 near the airport for the body of a missing person.
But instead, 20 years ago down this road, they would find something that would not only shock them, but expand this web of lies, intimidation, and murder.
Took the lid off and observed the body of what appears to be a white male floating in about 3 foot of water.
Inside was not the body of Christina Muse, but rather that of Tracy Mize, a known associate of drug kingpin Troy Clark, days away from testifying about Clark's massive drug operation.
He wanted it out there. This is what happens if you turn on me.
5 days later, the body of Muse, a former roommate of Clark's, was found nearby.
Some of the officers, even at the time, were talking about how it was the most disturbing scene that they had ever seen.
It was pretty, yeah. I'm glad my family has never seen pictures like that.
Representative Louis Gomer was the presiding judge over the case. He says Clark and his girlfriend at the time, Tori Jean Bush, were brought in for questioning several weeks before the discovery. KETK exclusively obtained their interviews.
Talking about rumors about Christina was killed?
No.
Troy, we need to talk about Christine. Christine. Well, Troy ain't get I mean, about to play. Y'all want to play her and y'all talking about.
I didn't do anything to her. I don't know anything.
Let me tell you what's going to happen. If we find the body, you're going to be in a world of
Days later, Bush cleared her conscience, leading authorities to the spot where Clark dumped Muse's body. She later claimed she had no idea of Mize's death.
Why did you kill Tracy Mize and Christina Muse? Have any comment?
Like a lot of meth abusers, they get paranoid. I believe that he thought that this girl was a snitch.
Bobby Mims was Clark's defense attorney, who saw a very complex individual.
Very affable, actually funny. He could have been a stand-up comedian. On the other hand, his record would indicate very dangerous individual.
Like the investigation, the 2002 trial had twists and turns no one expected. Bush would take the stand for a lighter sentence and outline the brutal death of Christina. In May of 1998, Clark kidnapped Muse out of fear she would talk to police. He tased her, tied her up, beat her, before forcing Tori Jean Bush to drown her.
He said, "You better help me or you can be here too." And so I helped him hold her head under the water.
We had family members there that were for the state.
Against advice of his own counsel, Clark took the stand. He turned to the jury and told them to give him the death penalty.
Ben said maybe he was trying to use reverse psychology like an amateur.
The jury listened.
You have anything to say to the family, Mr. Clark?
I'm innocent.
If Troy hadn't have taken the stand, we might have avoided the death penalty. We did everything that we could for Troy.
Hopefully when this is done, there will be completed closure.
Complete justice for Tracy Mize and justice for Christina Muse.
Tori Jean Bush was sentenced to 20 years in prison and is expected to be released in about 4 years. Clark, who has exhausted all appeals, is scheduled to die tomorrow evening. We will be there at his execution and bring you the latest. Casey.
Now, Daniel, why weren't there any charges brought up in the death of Tracy Mize?
Well, it simply comes down to cost. The prosecution felt as if they had already had a solid case against Clark in Christina's death, and then to add another charge on top of that would have cost more money for the county. So if Clark would have been found innocent in Christine's death, then the state would have been able to bring that next charge against him.
Well, that makes sense. Daniel, thank you for your report.